Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first and last episode of the Arts Dafts Podcast. This was originally our pilot episode, and I audio mix like a gopher. And if you want to know what that means, so do I. So today we are going to be sort of introducing our podcast to you. And ourselves and give you a feel for what we have to offer. I would like to introduce my best friend, Baban Illustration. I'm sure if you're here, you already know who she is, and you have probably heard about this podcast from her yourself. But if you don't know, she is an incredible illustrator. She does a lot of commissions, has done a lot of really fancy projects that you may have seen, whether you've known it was her or not. And she has been working on a secret project that I am not allowed to talk about, or for fear of death. But you should definitely stick around and bug her about it so that she makes it.
And this here is my best friend, Cherry, the secretary even. Who has a comic already that is 600 plus pages long called The Great Zazzle, about a pink man who is dubiously naked, that you can go and read on Tapas. The Great Zazzle, and you definitely should.
Thank you for saying that. And you can find all of our links in the description. And we would love to have you following us on this art journey and this podcast adventure. I believe we decided that, and the Hype Train also has decided, that this is going to be a sort of good cop, bad cop thing, where we want you to do art, and one of us is going to be nice about it, and one of us is going to be mean about it, depending on the day and the situation and how you choose to interpret it. But either way, you should shut up and do art anyway.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we drawing today? What is the first project?
The first project we're working on is our sonas that we're going to use for the YouTube version of the podcast. Just as a little visual notation of who is speaking and whose side of the screen is whose.
Visual aids, even.
Visual what?
Visual aids for who is speaking.
Yes, visual aids. What was that about? No memes?
What?
What?
No, let's carry on. I didn't say anything bad. What are you talking about?
You're right. That was me. That was all me. Okay. So as you can probably see if you are listening to this from YouTube, and if you are listening from Spotify, my Sona is a clown and Baban's is a Welsh dragon. It's a duo that makes perfect sense if you really dig deep and think about it. So, what was the inspiration for your visual aid today, Baban?
Okay, so I like strange poses. I like creepy serpentine creatures, and I like weird medieval art. So I decided to put all those things together. You can see a few of the smaller, chibi, cute dragons that I usually do. I have one on my stream that moves its mouth when I talk, like a PNG tuber. So I thought, you know what, that's too easy. Let's make it worse.
And I think that's a great motivation for me personally. Whenever I draw, is let's make it worse, but in the best way possible. And I think that you definitely succeeded in making it worse. You definitely have created something today.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see it done. Where where this podcast was unfinished for a while, I've only seen the sketch, so I have no idea how she's going to color it. And I don't know what the end result is going to be. And it'll just be a surprise for all of us in the end.
Likewise, I have not seen the clown completed yet. And I would argue that you are also succeeding in making it worse with, what did you describe it as? A grandma body?
Yeah, I don't know why I started drawing the. Well, I don't think the grandma body specifically is the part that's intentional. I just like the idea of her having Urkel pants. Like, as in, it's pulled up to the bra line. And, I don't know. It's just kind of, whenever I draw silly versions of her, she's starting to look very much like a bean-shaped grandma. And, I think that's pretty silly. I think that says clown.
It does. I agree. Can I go off on a talk? Actually, I have a theory about art where you keep drawing it, and the more you draw it, the more it simplifies and condenses into its essential elements. And it gets weirder and weirder and weirder until it becomes very iconic in a way. In the kind of technical term of iconic. So you're boiling it down and you're getting there, and you're gonna eventually have pure eau de clown.
I like that. Would you say that goes with your history of degenerative language video?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of actually. Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, we gotta link that one because that's a classic, and I strive every day to be Yogbi.
Yeah, this thing I'm drawing is a little bit inspired by Yogbi. That's my early beginnings of trying to make things more awful. What other kind of questions were we gonna answer? Because we want to focus in this episode on some frequently asked questions so that they are addressed early on.
Okay, let's see. As a long-time viewer of your YouTube channel and various streams, I feel like one that you get a whole lot, besides the obvious, like what are you using to draw on, like programs. Actually, you know what? That might be a good place to start. Like programs that we're using and the types of tablets that we're using. That actually might be a very good place to start.
Oh, that is a good one. Okay, so I currently am using a UG1600, which I have a review for on my channel. They sent me it specifically to review, and I've just kept using it. Before that, I used a Cintiq 16 HD, I think it was, with a Ergotron arm to hold it up. And I have recently been sent a bully box by my clown friend here with a Samsung tablet, is it?
Yes. It should be one of the, it's like a slightly older Galaxy Tab model.
Ah, yeah, there we go. So that's what I'm using currently, but I am using Clip Studio and the UG1600 tablet for the Art Podcast.
Awesome. And I am also using Clip Studio, and mine is the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9. And it's, I mean, that's all there is to it. It's just my little tablet setup and Clip Studio. Can't recommend Clip Studio enough. It just, the whole what do you call it? Subscription thing, It is
what it is.
Yeah, it's kind of, if I'm gonna pay a subscription, I'd rather pay it to Clip Studio than Adobe, but it would be cool if I didn't have to at all, but that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's one of those necessary evil things. Okay, what are the FAQ things are there? What kind of brushes we like to use? I like to just use the G pen, actually. I don't tend to veer away from that very much. I very much like line work. Not so much hatching, but I like line work and cell shading and very defined edges. So those are the kind of tools that I tend towards
I also use the G pen quite a bit, and uh no, actually I think that I use the G pen for the majority of everything, and I use the blur tool sometimes to soften shadows, but I block that in with the G pen too.
Yeah, we do a whole lot of cell shading, to be honest, both of us.
Yeah, I definitely do. I'm definitely way too comfy in the cell shading area. I need to get uncomfy. I need to bad cop myself.
Me too, man.
Let's see what else. I think people ask you from time to time, like, if you've been to art school. I feel like that comes up a lot.
Oh yeah, I went to do fine art at a university that wasn't very good for around 6 months. I tell this story a lot, but basically, people were asking the tutor for help as to why their life drawing didn't look like the thing they were trying to draw or like the person they were trying to draw. And the tutor gave them the answer that it's just their style, which is something I had been hearing on DeviantArt for many, many years at that point. So I ran and taught myself instead.
And see, I think that's awesome because and I'm gonna go off on a tangent for a second here, just because I have been on this side of things too. But especially when you're starting out with art and even digital art specifically, there's always that inclination or that thing you tell yourself that, oh, well, I'm not succeeding at this because I don't have the right tablet or the right pen, or I'm not using the right brush, or I'm not doing X, Y, and Z. And those things can definitely contribute to like your output quality, but it is, you know, you can still do it. Especially for me, once I came to terms with the fact that digital art is another medium, just like painting or like traditional sketching isn't its own medium, and you have to sort of learn those techniques and then apply what you already know about art. And then also knowing that, you know, you're as successful and as skilled as you are, not having a art degree or anything like that. Like you took it and made it your own. I think that should be very inspiring to people, that says like, yeah, you can, it doesn't matter where you are. As long as you have the drive to sit down and learn and practice and have fun with it, like you can accomplish amazing things with your art, truly.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do want to specify also that if I had gone to a good art uni or college or whatever, I would be a lot better by now. But those places are expensive, and I would have loved to go to one, but it's just not how it panned out. So
Oh yeah,
I would like
definitely.
to have been better by now, but hey ho, that's just how things go. But ultimately, if you're stubborn enough, you can get somewhere.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I'm not putting down art school and like saying, who needs it? You shouldn't go. Like, if that's what you want to do, then by all means. And I do think there are good ones out there. But like you said, it is expensive, and not everybody has the means for that kind of thing. But they shouldn't be
Mhm.
discouraged from doing art just because of that.
Oh yeah, especially even if it's just something you want to do for fun. I don't think people should feel pressured to do commissions and you know make it into a job, even if it's just a like part-time thing or just doing commissions here and there. I think if you just want to do it for fun, just do it for fun.
Definitely, yes. And actually, that's a good segue, because I know you get asked about commissions a ton.
Oh yeah. See, I think something else I was going to say is that I think the biggest part of it is just completing the work on time. That's going to get you a big way. A big way. That's going to get you a long way. Just be able to finish the work, I guess. That's something you want to do.
Oh yeah, time management is it's a big one.
Hmm. We can talk about that in another episode, though, because I have a lot of things that I've learned through doing so many over the years.
Oh yeah, I think that would be awesome. And I think uh having a realistic expectation of what it's like to work with commissioners, both like from the perspective of somebody who's starting out and somebody who has worked with higher end clients, would be really good for people. Just, and I mean, I feel like the commission space is so competitive that you don't get a lot of people who are upfront about it.
Yeah, I guess I don't look into that stuff too much. I usually get on with my own things and don't see how other people are doing with it so much. But definitely, people can try and get into it by really lowering what they'll accept for their work.
Yeah. Let's see. What else do you get asked about? So, a normal question, an art-related question, not weird questions.
Where am I from is the usual one, but we've covered that. Where are you from, clown friend, if you wish to share?
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I'm in the U.S. in old Clowntucky. I think that is a satisfactory enough answer. The manager man also is in Clowntucky, being that he is my spouse and all. He's just not here today because he did not want to keep this footage and use it, and we disagreed. So, hi husband. I'm doing the internet thing. Have a good day.
Get that off of the internet.
I'm cutting it down. Anyway. Oh, I know. I know one you get asked. Who inspires you? What your favorite artists? There you go. That's the one.
Well, we all know that I like Ness Kane and think that Ness Kane's really cool. I like Alphonse Mucha a whole lot. I really like Gustave Doré. I like Jamie Hewlett a lot, and I've been looking at a lot of Robert Valley's art lately. There is a animated piece that is also a comic called Pear Cider and Cigarettes that I have been kind of watching and studying recently, and trying to pick apart how he makes his art style look is so interesting.
Ooh, that's very good answers. Also, yes, the Pear Cider and Cigarettes are. It's hurtful, but in a good way. You can definitely learn a lot from that. I also like Mucha. You've gotten me into Mucha recently. That helped me get through the paintings that I did recently. So that was cool, and I want to do more. I enjoyed it. It's I think that it's gonna be my new self-loathing activity because
punishment.
yeah, punishment. Yeah, that's a nicer way to put it. Because it makes you commit to what's on the canvas. There's no control Z when you're playing with paint.
Nowhere to hide. That's another good question, actually. Do you have any background in any traditional arts or crafts or related?
Are you asking me, or is that like a question you get?
I don't know, for both of us. I don't necessarily mean background as in study or work, just is that something you have done before or have interest in?
Well, back in the day, I didn't have any digital art supplies. I did not know how people got I'm gonna be so embarrassed right now to talk about how old I am, but I remember the days being on MySpace and everybody had an anime profile picture in the little circle that I was running in, and you would just go on Photo Bucket and find just cute anime looking picture, and then that would be your MySpace picture, which I learned after a lot of people came and yelled at me that that they consider that stealing art, even though I never said I drew it or anything like that. But I was also like 13 and like, why is everybody mad at me? I'm so confused. I didn't know how people made that stuff. Like, I didn't know there was equipment that you could use to draw on. And like, I only knew about Microsoft Paint, and genuinely I'm like, man, these people must be so good at Microsoft Paint. How do they make it look like this? I had no idea until I was out of college and looking into this stuff seriously because I wanted to make comics. But yeah, all I ever did was just draw in my sketchbook and and contemplate how people made anime.
That's really cool though, because did you come at it from the position of this is the end goal that I want, which is making comics? I need to learn art to do that, because the direction that I've come in from is drawing is some kind of compulsion that I need to do. Otherwise, I go a little bit loopy.
Yeah.
And then the I want to do a comic has followed on from that.
Yeah, it was always comics for me, because, and actually what's really funny is I remember being very young, like way young, like kindergarten age, and having to do little class projects where we had to draw, and I got in trouble a lot because I would not draw. I wouldn't fill up the page. I would just like draw something stupid and then walk away. And like I remember telling my kindergarten teacher that I hate drawing. I hated it. And uh then I found out that Sonic the Hedgehog had comics. And I was like so sucked in by the fact that that was a thing, and I could not tell you what it was. Like, I already, like, I liked Sonic already. It was like it had like a soft spot in my heart just because it was something that I always did at like a family member's house. And then I was playing by myself when I was a little bit older, on the GameCube, and the GameCube had like this special features section where you could read the entire first issue of Sonic from like the Archie comics. And after that, like, it was just over for me. And I spent hours looking at all of the comic covers and practicing drawing Sonic, and just like, that's all I did at home. I turned in all my work at school with little Sonic drawings on them because that was all I knew how to draw. And then I discovered anime, and I have been ruined ever since.
Amazing. See, I'm not sure I have a clear, traceable line of influence like that. I'm kind of jealous, actually. That sounds awesome. Like I say, I've always just drawn kind of compulsively, like I can't stop myself. But that's really cool that you have that through line of I want to do this kind of thing, and then you got into that kind of thing, and it led you further into the art aspect of it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's good that it's something that you've been drawn to do too, because I think that, like, I don't know how to describe it, but you have like a very good attitude about it, and you come at it from a perspective of you just want to see other people do it too. And I think that's why I personally, and I'm sure a lot of other people, find your videos and tutorials more helpful than a lot of the other ones on YouTube, because you sometimes I think you come at it from like a more human perspective, and not just like like, you can put it into perspective of somebody who's trying to learn it, and not as somebody who already knows how to do it. And I think that's what a lot of tutorials miss, is it's harder to describe how to do something as somebody who to somebody who doesn't know, as opposed to somebody who does know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like trying to backtrack through the thought process to when you were starting out and what you had trouble with, I guess. That's what I try and think of it like anyway, to try and help people.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, and there's a lot of concepts with art that it's just kind of hard to explain, especially. And one thing that I've had to come to terms with recently is that where it is visual, it's a visual thing and it's about perception. There are a lot of techniques that you can do that, you might tell yourself, I follow these steps and I'll have success every time, but there's still the visual component. There's still tweaking that you can do. There's always ways that you can change it, and somebody is going to see it one way and somebody else is going to see it completely different. And, you don't always have to follow those rules. I mean, and I don't think everybody struggles with that. That's probably just me. I like rules because it's measurable and, I can predict success, but, art's not always like that. Sometimes you draw the stupid thing and people like that more than the thing you spent 60 hours on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think sometimes it can be very dependent on having a process that is repeatable like that. So that's probably something I'd mention in a episode on commissions where I talk about having a very clear process that is reliable and repeatable, so that people know what they're going to get. Um,
Oh, definitely.
but
And
yeah,
that
it's very sandboxy as a thing. You kind of go crazy with stuff.
sandboxy is a very good word. And the repeatable process applies to comics also. And
Oh
that's
yeah, you're right.
not even for, having something consistent throughout all the pages and panels that you're going to draw. It's having something repeatable because, it is a lot of drawing and, the more refined your process is, the quicker you're going to get through it. And, I can tell you more. Well, I can tell you from experience that sometimes it's a grueling process, and I am sure there are things that I could. Actually, I'm certain, 100% positive there are things I could be doing to make my life easier. And, that's the other part of art is you're always learning.
Can I suggest that you make some tutorials on making comics because I am not ready for what is about to hit me once I get into mine. I'm not ready for the upset.
Oh boy. Well, I'll do it. I'll do it, and I'm not gonna be a baby about it, but I'll do it anyway. I was gonna say I'm not
Yeah.
going to, but I don't
I
want to
think that
lie.
would be awesome. That could be like supplemental podcast material.
It's true because you have your channel with your tutorials and your streams and your Patreon, so
Hmm.
I should I could do visual well, video
Aids.
format also instead of just Zazzle. That's usually the bulk of what I do, but yeah.
What other questions do people ask?
Let's see. I'm trying to think of like
How
recent, but
many
there's been a lot of regulars in the streams lately, so a lot of those questions kind of.
got answered? How many years have you been drawing? Is a common one, I think.
Oh yeah, that is a big one.
So has it been maybe 10 years now? I've been doing it consistently, like almost every day, drawing purposefully for a goal of, getting better. And before that, it was a lot less regular, so I'd maybe finish one thing a month or maybe less.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. See, I think I have drawn since maybe two, like I started wanting to draw as like a hobby for sure. Like I had the whole I'm going to make comics thing in 2004. And definitely in like 2007 and 2008, I would have spiral notebooks that I would draw comics in. They were terrible, but I carried them with me to every class, and that's what I did instead of actual schoolwork. And I yeah, I did that, and then everybody's like art's not a job, so then I didn't draw as much. and then I quit for a few years and then came back to it because it just was, I think I'm like you, just compulsively. I just kept coming back to it. Like, why am I not drawing? Remember when I did that and I was happy and I had fun?
Yeah.
Remember that? Um, so yeah, I think I started trying to go at it as like I'm gonna say professionally, even though I don't feel like I'm, mega professional or anything, but I would say I started trying to achieve that maybe 2016.
Yeah, that's cool. That's not too far off when I started doing it then.
I don't, no, I guess not. I don't know
We
how.
should do an episode where we look at all of our old stuff. I'm not sure if you mentioned if you didn't have a lot of those old notebooks and comics, but I would be very curious to hear about if there's anything from those days that you used to do that you feel has carried through, or things that you learned very early on from doing that and just playing.
Yeah, I definitely, when I got really big into Naruto, part of the reason I really liked it is because I felt like the way Masashi Kishimoto drew anime faces was very different from all of the anime that I had seen at that point in time. And I felt like he leaned more towards realistic facial proportions as opposed to like anime facial proportions. And I was so into that, and I started practicing drawing Naruto stuff all the time. And now when I look at my art and then I look at Naruto, I can see what I learned in it, and it bothers me really bad because now I'm older and I've seen different styles that I like, or that kind of suit what I feel like my end goal is or my current goal is. And I feel like I can see all of the flaws in Naruto now, which is fine. I still like Naruto, and I still don't think it really looks bad. It just doesn't look like. Well, it still looks like anime. That's what I'm getting at.
Not as good as you remember.
But I think that's probably the main thing. I don't remember having any comic ideas when I was that young that I'm trying to go with. Like, I definitely don't think there's anything like that in Zazzle.
That's interesting because I don't know if that carries through into my art where you can see other styles coming through in it. I think probably to some extent because over the years it's condensed into something that's marketable for commissions and things, obviously. But now I'm starting to actively try and move it away into something else and revisit old styles that I used to use.
I actually was thinking about that the other day, and I didn't know if that was going to make you mad or not because I definitely remember a lot of the stuff that I've seen you pull up recently, and like when you actually posted that for the first time and being like, whoa, this is so cool. And like so jazzed about it. And then you moved so far away from it, like, this is shit. And now you're pulling it back up, like, stylistic.
Yeah. I
It's
think that
great.
was more of like a, chasing after kind of acquisition of skill and doing commissions and stuff, and it being necessary for me to lean into like a more marketable direction. And even like the commissions themselves sort of dictate in that direction that I went in. So now that I do want to work on my own comic and I have ideas and things, I'm like, okay, I need to go and revisit what I used to do, and we'll go and dig up the decaying corpses of my old styles and reanimate them.
Yeah, that's the flavor. And I mean, that's part of art too, is just, that's why I didn't want to say end goal earlier because the goalpost is almost always changing because like it seems like the closer you get to one style you want to achieve, by the time you get there, there's something else. You've spotted somebody doing something else that you like. And now it's not enough that you've achieved this thing. Now you've got to go this direction. You got to chase this thing.
There's plenty of dragons to chase.
Plenty.
Mine
All
just
the
so happens
time.
to look like this.
Yeah. Do you want to chase this dragon? Is that something that you're interested in, chat?
Yeah, we have to plug for engagement. Leave a comment. What does the dragon that you chase look like? Does it look like this?
Yeah. Yeah. What dragon do you imagine? Is it this dragon? Is it your sleep paralysis dragon? Comment below. I like that. That's good. I think too with comics, I think you could even look at making comics as its own medium too, to tell you the truth. There's
Definitely. Yeah.
there's a lot of rules and there's a lot of ways to go about it, and I there's not necessarily a wrong way, and especially with platforms like Tapas, um, there's ways you can get your story out there, and you don't have to have the fear of going through like a publication company or anything like that. And especially if it's just something you want to practice, you can just like there's all kinds of platforms out there that you can put a story out and gauge your just based on feedback. What are you doing that's readable? What's not readable? How do you want to tell a story? And you could even use that as a practice run for putting your book on a shelf.
Yeah, I don't really have any idea how the publication stuff goes because I'm not sure mine is going to be entirely palatable for that direction. But
Well, you
it
know,
is
there's a lot of comics out there that are pretty brutal. So I mean, there's definitely publishers out there that are in the market for that kind of content. You just have to find the right one.
yeah, that's a good point. It's not something I'm thinking about right now. I'm just like make the thing because I was going to mention that the first thing you do, it's like with art, I guess. The first thing you do, it's going to be bad, and you're going to learn from it, and you're going to learn from any ones that you do after it as well. So I just need to get the first one out.
Definitely. And I've told you this before, but I will reiterate that it may not be everything you want it to be. It doesn't necessarily mean that it will be fundamentally bad. But, there's going to be things that you want to change. There's things that I want to change about Zazzle. And even right now, I'm not planning on doing anything after Zazzle just because Zazzle right now is such a big project that if I finish it before I am in Depends, then I've accomplished something good. But for me personally, it's just doing something that I was told I couldn't do. So, like, where
Spite.
yeah, exactly. The fact that it exists and it's something that I actively work on is like my big middle finger to the world. And if it ever becomes more than that, then it's just gravy. And I like my gravy. I like my gravy as a surprise.
Swap the hype train for the gravy. Swap the hype train for the gravy train.
Yeah, the hype train comes bearing gravy. So every time you hear the hype train in the background, just know it's like the Nickelodeon Slime Time Live, and somebody in Kentucky just had gravy dumped all over them, as is tradition, and that's true. And if you're from Kentucky, don't say otherwise in the comments. It's okay. We can tell them about our traditions. They deserve to know. We should
They'll be in on it soon enough.
normalize gravy showers, chat.
Yeah, that stuff kind of applies to art as well, though. In general, I think that you just got to get the bad ones out. I like to think about it like there's something cool in the canvas, and I just have to keep digging to get it out, and I will eventually if I keep digging. But if I don't dig, I'm never gonna find it.
That is the most Bob Ross thing that you've ever said, and I love it.
Good.
That was a very Bob Ross statement. But yeah, I mean, you're right. It's always there. And And, a mindset has a lot to do with it. Sometimes you have a bad day, and it may not even be that what you're drawing is bad, but if you're not in the right headspace, your brain is not going to accept whatever you're putting out. You're just going to spin your wheels in the mud.
Yeah. I tend to have that trouble after I've been doing stuff all day and there's just no energy left. So I think it's kind of balancing that, I guess, divvying it up, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to know when to take a step back. And I know that I'm the world's worst because you hear everybody say how important breaks are. And, they are. Truthfully, they are important. But, I don't
Not
think...
for you. You're special. You're the exception.
Exactly.
See?
Yeah. I know that I'm not the only one that feels that way. That's like, oh, well, Ness Kane might be able to take breaks, but I can't take breaks. That's how I'm going to be as good as Ness Kane. And then, you come back the next day and you're like, who drew this? Because it wasn't me. Or sometimes you surprise yourself. You walk away saying, I hate this, and then you come back the next day like, this is fine. What was I mad about? I've done both.
Oh, that one happens to me a lot. That's why I'm trying to just make more stuff. Just kick out more sketches, and then one of them will be good. Or I can check it tomorrow, and we'll find out then.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Whether the sketches are good or not is not today's problem. That's tomorrow Baban's problem.
Yeah. I know Psychra had a very good piece of advice in one of the streams I attended once. And I do think about this a lot. It's hard for me to do personally because it's hard for me to trick my brain in this way. But anytime you're being too self-critical, he said to look away from the canvas, right? Like, just look at something else, reset your brain, get your eyes off of whatever you're looking at, give yourself like a minute or whatever, and then look at the canvas, but just glance at it and then look away and see if there's anything immediate that sticks out to you. And then when you see it, think about what you saw as if your friend drew it and not you. Because, like, you've stared at this thing for 2 hours, 6 hours, 30 minutes, whatever, however long it has been enough for you to go crazy over it. But somebody else is just going to look at it. You know what I mean? They're not going to sit and stare at it for as long as you. They're not going to look at it and see everything that might read a little bit wonky or everything you wish that you did better. They're going to look at it and be like, oh, cool. So as long as there's not anything glaringly, like, you drew the hand on backward or something.
Yeah.
You can let it go. And it's something that I should work on more. I think everybody could work on it more, but I do think about that a lot. That's I definitely do the look away and then look back at the canvas just to see if anything looks weird. I do that a lot.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's a whole bunch of tips for resetting your brain like that, actually. The first one I thought of was the flipping the canvas is the obvious one, but you can also invert the canvas vertically. So flip it upside down, and that one works a treat because you really can't tell what's going on there without thinking about it, but your brain will register some of it.
I have been trying to implement that since I heard you say that not too long ago, and I find that it helps specifically for things where if I need to find out if somebody is on the floor playing correctly, if I flip it upside down and it doesn't look like they're firmly planted, then I kind of have an answer. Or if it looks like they're going to fall over.
Yeah.
That helps a lot when I flip vertical.
We should do a episode on little tricks like that. I have many.
I know before, like when we tried to record this the first time, we talked about that one book. Is it the right side of the brain or the left side of the brain? I forgot.
Oh, drawing on the right side of the brain.
Right side. Yeah. Is there things in that book about it? Because I'm interested and I still want to read that and I have it. I just haven't got into it yet.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's the whole point of it, actually. it talks about how by default you tend to see things in a iconic way. So when you draw them, you try and include as much information as is necessary about them into it. So this is the kind of thing like with hieroglyphs, they will draw the eyes looking forward. In like old Egyptian art, rather, not hieroglyphs. They will draw the eyes looking forward, even though the figure is sideways. And you can generally see both of the arms and both of the legs, so there isn't anything that's hidden behind everything else, and it's that overlap that tends to get confusing. So a lot of that book is what teaches you how to see things in a way that default way of thinking does not get in the way of you drawing things.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I'm in. We definitely should talk about that. Book club.
It's a good book. Mm-hmm.
And for bad cop purposes, do your homework. I
What was
want
my homework again?
No, just for the viewer listener people. Read chapters 1 through 3 of your textbook by next podcast episode. There will be questions and a quiz.
Oh yeah, the desk is empty. We would like your homework on the desk by next episode, please.
Your homework and your art and your stories. Everything that you told yourself that you're too busy or not good enough to do, it all has to be on the desk. You gotta do it. If I have suffered through 600 pages of a comic, then so are you.
That made me feel sick.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It does me too if it makes you feel any better. I'm supposed to be working on my comic right now. But podcast needs doing. Zazzle will always be there for you. He's attending to the gravy train at the moment.
Captain of the gravy train.
Is that conductor? Is that what
conductor? That's it.
I like it. I want to draw that now.
What other questions do we get?
Oh, I know one thing we haven't talked about that was on our list. What is your most favorite recent art project that you have done?
Oh, honestly, a lot of the stylization tests that I've been doing, just sketching a lot and testing out different styles that I like, revisiting things to redevelop my style, I guess. I was doing some tests with panty and stocking style, trying to, I guess, more directly mimic it. So I've been really enjoying myself doing that so far.
Ooh. I wonder, is that stuff that's on your Patreon? We probably won't be able to show that, can we?
Oh, you want something you can show? Okay.
I mean that's a great answer. I just I don't want to volunteer something that is chat, pay for your content, but
I forgot that we were going to show it on the podcast. I forgot. You do yours. I will have to think on that one. I might have to look in my files actually.
Okay. I think my favorite recent project is probably the new cover that I made for the Plane of Oceans arc. Because we went to a festival and my husband wanted to sell the Zazzle covers as prints, and I lost the first ever one, but I hate it. And actually, I found a smaller version of the first ever Zazzle comic cover recently, and I was not about to sell that for money because it just was not up to my standards. So I redrew one for the Plane of Sky, and then that one looked better than the current Plane of Oceans one, so I had to redraw it too. And I actually really like how it turned out in terms of the composition and the assets that I made out of it. I kind of patted myself on the back for that one, and then I dreaded going back and looking at the chapters because I'm like, oh man, this is gonna look better than what I've already drawn, huh? But that's how that be how it is.
Can I be obnoxious and say that this is my current favorite thing because it's looking worse and worse as I'm drawing it, and I'm really enjoying it actually.
No, that's valid. I'm dying to see it. I technically finished the line art on the actual clown, but I'm including the bonus clown in there.
Oh, excellent. Yeah,
I feel like the
mine clown.
Yeah, I think she adds too much energy to the piece, so she's gotta
stay.
Yeah, even as a joke. And I'm very aware that I have no idea how the Jocko pose actually is supposed to work for a human body, but then I kind of think maybe it's not supposed to, and that's the point.
Maybe. I've been thinking about that lately, actually, and how that works. I was planning to see if I could warp some figures in that way and get them to work. I wonder if it's one of those things where they have to manually adjust the model, like in the JoJo opening where Caesar's arm is completely broken to get it to work. They must have to do something with the hips in that area to get it to work.
I'm sure. I am so sure. There's I don't know why Caesar his arm is broken like that, because at least from where I'm standing, it seems like that should work, but maybe it's just it might be because of his clothes and because JoJo boys are just so big.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because that's why I wanted to draw that pose specifically with chibis, to see if I could get it to work without having to break it like that. And it seemed okay when I was drawing it, but it could just be the advantages of drawing in 2D and not having to, physically deal with collisions on a model.
That is a very good point. Actually, one thing I would like to talk about in a future episode, just because I'm incapable of shutting up about Araki and JoJo, is like art style. And I know that we talked about that already, but like specifically I just want to talk about how broken JoJo is as an art style and why it works, and how, like, I guess how people should manage their standards with things like that, because Araki clearly is having fun making these broken things, and everybody likes it. Like it's accepted in a good way, and also probably an excuse just to talk about JoJo in general. But
yeah, I'm down for that. Like I say, I've been very much into testing out different stylization things and understanding the choices in stylization more lately. So
yeah,
I will hold my comments until we get to that episode. That might be a good one.
Yeah.
Move on too soon though.
I think you're right, because I think we even talked about that being the next thing we talk about potentially. So yeah. There's definitely room for those conversations and many others. Are you on to coloring yet?
I am onto the color, and I am doing my flats, and I'm not sure how I'm going to shade it. I'm trying to make the colors unpleasant.
I have a really good idea. Actually, I don't know if it's a good idea, but it is an idea. But I'm just, Attack on Titan, where it's like the colossal Titan looking over the wall, and then you have Eren Yeager just kind of standing there. But it's the dragon and the clown. Like, the dragon's looking over the wall.
Oh, yeah. That would be good.
I love it. It would be cool, and I don't know how sustainable it is, but it would be cool if every podcast episode thumbnail was a meme format.
It would.
I don't know how.
I don't know how long the extra that would take to do.
See, I'm thinking about like the SpongeBob one I sent you, where it's like, what do you normally do while I'm gone? Wait for you to get back.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about that one, and it didn't actually take me that long because I just drew over top of it, but I think if you wanted a really nice thumbnail, you'd have to do a lot more editing.
Yeah. I mean, we've got the things we're drawing for the thumbnails anyway, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be the more efficient thing to do, I suppose. Man, now I see why people hire an editor.
Oh, absolutely. This is what we get for not involving the manager.
Well, but he can't draw. Well, I guess he can draw. Actually, you know what? That might be funny if he tried to. We should just do an episode where we make him draw. We should do that.
That would be a good idea, actually.
Just let him try. I think he would. I think he would surprise himself. I do. I've seen some like sketchbook stuff he has. Well, I say sketchbook stuff, but like I've seen some of his doodles before. And they're cool. I liked them. They're not like the one that comes to mind is he drew like a card, like a playing card. He drew it out and it looked really cool and I liked it.
That's neat. That would be a cool thing to share also.
Yeah, I definitely like your idea of going through our old art at some point.
Yeah. Like a PowerPoint presentation.
Aw, like show and tell.
Yeah, show and tell.
Aw. Okay, that sounds fun, actually.
That would be a very interesting way to track influences as well, because we're both down bad for the fan art stuff.
Yeah, it would be really funny too to watch the point in time in which everything went JoJo.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very blatant, and I'm fine with it. It is what it is. I kind of realized that I became the person that I didn't want to be when people first started telling me about JoJo. I would tell you that I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna stop. So
It's okay. Happens to the best of us. And the worst.
yeah, I know. I feel like I've done. I can think of so many times in my life where I've said I'm never gonna do this, and then, flash forward to me doing the thing.
You ever done that with art?
Have I? Well, I don't know.
Have we finished recording, by the way?
We are. Oh, yeah, we can wrap it up. I was gonna say, just as a last point, I guess if you go in perspective, I said I would never do not safe for work, and technically I haven't, but there's a drawing or two that's very questionable. So it just depends.
No one ever closer.
Like, okay, I wouldn't say that it's not safe for work, but I would say that I would not share with children.
Yeah.
And I will leave it at that.
Same, man. I have managed to dodge the not safe for work as of yet. I don't intend to.
No, you're doing good. You're doing good. You've done it's like lewd, maybe? No, not even really lewd. Just sexy. But I mean,
Yeah.
sexy is fun to draw. It really, because the curves, and I think that's why muscles are more fun to draw than like women now. Because before I liked drawing women because I felt like the hourglass shape was more fun than the trapezoid shape. But now that I've learned muscle groups and like the subtle curves of muscles, I think that's more fun. And I think that it provides more landmarks on the body to, register anatomy better.
Me too. I enjoy the shapes. Very good. Very good shapes.
10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you are correct, and it is time to wrap up the first and lost episode. do you have any final words?
No, but I think we should record extra where we show each other our finished thing.
Okay, yeah, I'm getting to the end of mine, and then we can definitely do that.
Excellent. Me too.
Okay, I'm excited. So, with that being said, everybody, thank you for listening, and we'll be right back with the big reveal. And this is where I would say that here's a word from our sponsors, but we don't have any yet.
Zazzle is the sponsor.
Yeah, a word from our sponsors, and then I'm gonna get. No, I'm not. Okay, this is a joke. I'm not actually gonna do it. Don't come for me. But I'm gonna get AI to make a Ryan Reynolds type commercial that sounds like the Mint Mobile ads, but just say Zazzle related stuff and about bean dip and adventure and rainbows. And we're back. And we are ready to reveal our beautiful sonas that will represent us for the duration of the Arts and Dafts podcast.
Excellent.
This is going to go so well. Are you ready?
Almost. I'm still saving it. I got kind of, well, it started editing it more.
Oh no.
While I was waiting.
All right.
It's gotten worse, and I want you to know that the small change that has happened, it's your fault.
Oh no.
The delay.
Okay. Well, see, I feel like you're not going to be surprised by mine, but I'm really excited to see what you've done. I didn't really try anything new with the coloring. I didn't get too creative. I probably should have, but I will, I can make concessions to make the, official profile picture, extra terrible.
Oh. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. I think I will take a screenshot because I accidentally made it a very big file.
Alright, you know what, that's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough.
Okay. Are we posting at the same time?
That's what, I have mine locked and loaded, so I figured like 3, 2, 1, and then dunk it.
Okay, go.
Alright, 3, okay, you went, oh my god. Oh my god. What have you done here?
I don't know. Nothing.
Oh.
Nothing.
Okay. Alright, well, now I need to know what the little change was. I want to see if I can spot it. What could it be?
Oh, it's the extra green highlight around the edges and the drip drops.
Okay, I was actually just looking at the drippy drop. Oh god, I hate this phrasing. Why are you wet?
That's up to the audience to not a good thing to say, is it?
Chat, don't speculate that in the comments, please. Just don't. Oh, this is
like an eel.
Like an eel. Yeah. This is great.
Melt its face.
This is melt its face. Where's my eel? Okay, I think you.
It's too slippery.
Oh man, how does this?
Like that you left the small. Huh?
I was gonna say I don't know how this is gonna translate into a PNG tuber, but you know what? That is my burden to bear.
Yeah, you're gonna have to figure that one out. I like that you left the small clown in. She makes me think that she's like a landmine, ready to pop, and it would make the kind of noise like when you get a jar that ain't right and the top pops and it tells you to take it back to the shop. It's like,
oh, see, I thought it would sound like a whoopee cushion.
oh, yeah, okay, that's better.
Because it's like the butt's up in the air, locked and loaded, and it's just
ready.
Got it.
Primed, even.
Yeah, primed. Oh, This is gonna be a great PNG tuber. I wonder if, like, how much of the butt can I get away with in the PNG tuber? Because...
Oh, you mean the small one? I was going to say, are you going to keep the expression on the main one? But if you're using the small one, then...
Oh, no, I meant the butt on the dragon. I don't know what mine's going to do. I think it would be funny
Oh, do you mean you're going to get the cheeks to talk instead of the face?
I could do that. Just turn the model around when you start talking out of your ass.
Switch between the two.
I don't know if I would have the patience to keep up with it, but it would be funny if my clown got progressively more distressed every episode.
It would. That would be very fun.
I might work on that. I don't know if you know who Shin Comics is. He does something like that every October where he'll take like one picture and then every day he uploads the same picture, but it gets progressively creepier until Halloween.
That's very clever. I like that.
It's very funny. I like his art style. A lot of people use his comics as the meme format. Like, you know the guy where he talks about his bike getting stolen and then everybody memed it?
No, actually.
No. Hang on. I wonder if I can find one real quick for reference, or at least the original comic. Since I have Discord pulled up and I can just drop it in if I find it. Let me see.
Are we going to talk about anything else to finish off the episode, or?
Well, we could go ahead and sort of tease what we're doing next week if you want.
What are we doing next week? Are we doing these in order? We have a nice...
Or I guess...
page that we have.
Maybe not next week specifically. Next episode at the very least, because I don't know how often we are going to upload these yet. But we were talking about... I wrote a thing about style, about stylistic choices, and how sometimes you make mistakes, and that's not just your style, and that's okay, because we're here for you.
Yeah, you were talking about wanting to do a tutorial around that as well. That's something I've just done, actually, is how to study in regards to stylization.
Yeah, and see, that was one of the talking points I actually wrote down for that episode as well, and I think it would be helpful to at least touch on those things, and then, you know, that could be a whole other podcast episode specifically, and like you said, you've got a tutorial. I'm gonna eventually make similar tutorials. Mine will be free, but you should pay Baban for hers. They're on Patreon. You should go sub to the Patreon.
Mine are on the Patreon. It's just Baban illustration on there as well. There's a whole bunch more there too.
We'll super link that. And I was gonna also say, I don't know presently what social media we'll be advertising the podcast on, but I imagine that by the time this is up, we have decided that, and they are in the description also. And you can follow us there for more episodes of Arts and Dafts Podcast, as well as subscribe to the YouTube and Spotify channels, because we'll be back.
Excellent.
You can't stop us.
So helpful. Mm-hmm.
But thank you for listening to the first ever, first and lost episode of the Arts and Dafts Podcast. And we appreciate you so much for listening. And we'll see you next time with PNG tubers.
Mm-hmm. Goodbye.
Bye.